Jesus was casting out demons, healing the sick, and raising the dead. News about his ministry was spreading. So when Jesus rides into Jerusalem on a donkey for Passover, the city is packed and the people are excited. They're laying coats and palm branches on the road and yelling, "Hosanna!" which means, "Save us!" And the Pharisees say to each other, "We aren't accomplishing anything. Look, the world has gone after him." Later, Jesus goes into the temple and says, "It is written, my house will be called the house of prayer for all the nations, but you are making it a den of thieves." So he overturns money tables and drives out the people who are buying and selling. Then those who are blind and physically impaired go up to him and he heals them. Children shout, "Hosanna! Save us, son of David!" The chief priests and scribes are furious and start scheming about how they can get rid of Jesus. After that, Jesus was having the Passover meal with his disciples. He takes bread, gives thanks, breaks it, and gives it to them, and says, "Eat this, it is my body." Then he gives them the cup and says, "Drink this, it is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many people for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in remembrance of me." Then he tells them, "One of you will betray me." And all the disciples say, "Surely not I, surely not I, surely not I." Even Judas is like, "Surely not I." So they're all asking who's it going to be. And then they start fighting about who's the greatest. But Jesus tells them leaders should become like servants. Then Jesus begins washing his disciples' feet. When he gets to Peter, Peter says, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answers him, "If I don't wash you, you have no part with me." Peter says, "Lord, don't just stop at my feet. You can wash my hands, you can wash my head." They sit back at the table with their clean feet, and Jesus begins teaching them many things. He says, "I give you a new commandment. Love one another, just as I have loved you." Then Peter motions to John to ask Jesus who's the betrayer. So John asks Jesus, "Psst, so Lord, who's going to betray you?" Jesus says, "The one whom I give this dip morsel to." And he gives it to Judas. Then he tells Judas, "What you're going to do it quickly." So Judas leaves into the night. The other disciples think, maybe Judas is going to go buy something for the feast or give something to the poor. They all sing a hymn and then head out. Jesus tells them, "You are all going to fall away because of me." But Peter says, "Even if everyone else does, I never will." Jesus says, "Peter, the rooster isn't going to crow today until you have denied that you know me 3 times. Peter says, "Even if I have to die, I will never deny you." The rest of the disciples say the same thing and are all like, Yeah, us too. They arrive at the garden and Jesus tells some of them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." Then he goes with Peter, James, and John and tells them, "My soul is deeply grieved to the point of death. Stay up with me." He goes further, falls on his face, and fervently prays, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." And his sweat is like drops of blood. Jesus goes back and wakes up his disciples for the 3rd time and tells them, "Look, my betrayer is coming." Judas was coming with a crowd with torches, clubs, and swords.